Alert. And what is our military goal in Libya? Well, we just got an indication from the White House. A senior White House official on board Air Force One just now saying Allied military action in Libya is aimed at protecting civilians and not about regime change. All this as two waves of punishing nighttime attacks targeting pro-Qaddafi forces. And the U.S. is leading the operation, but hoping to hand over control to our allies in the coalition in the next few days. Muammar Qaddafi, though, is still defiant, as you've heard. He vows a very long war ahead. This is the U.S. is already involved in two other wars. So what's our next step in Libya? Joining us now, retired Major General Bob Scales. He is a Fox News military analyst. General Scales, I know you've been spending some time with the doctors lately. It's good to have you back in the chair.
It's good to be back, John. Thank you.
So what do you think about that comment from the White House? They're saying this is not about regime change. It's not about trying to get Muammar Qaddafi. It's just about protecting civilians there.
John, it is about regime change. It is about Muammar Qaddafi. Success will not accrue to our side until Gaddafi is gone. This is an issue of trying to translate tactical success, and it's been very successful, into a favorable strategic outcome. The only favorable strategic outcome is Gaddafi gone and some form of stability reestablished in a country that right now is facing a protracted civil war.
All right, so why don't we say that? Why don't we say then, if that's the goal, that we want to get Qaddafi and we want to replace his government?
Well, frankly, John, every uniformed person who I've talked to over the last 2 days is saying that. Obviously, we have to stay within the bounds of the UN resolution, and that sort of is tying the hands of the administration. But we should not let the rhetoric interfere with the ultimate end in this case, the strategic outcome, which is the removal of Gaddafi by force. Or, better, his own people seeing the light and removing Qaddafi using their own internal means. But the bottom line is simply this. We're facing a prospect of a protracted civil war. We've taken sides. We don't know what the outcome is. The only favorable outcome right now is Gaddafi gone, John.
Muammar Qaddafi bombed a German discotheque that killed a couple of American service members. In punishment for that, Ronald Reagan went after Qaddafi, bombed his tent compound in the desert, almost got Qaddafi that day, ended up killing his daughter, as I recall. But this is a man who has dug himself in. He's clearly got bunkers and so forth all over Libya. He does have pillars of support in that country. Despite the bombardment that he has endured over these last couple of nights, he could hang on there for a very long time.
Yeah, he could, John, but in many ways, the best ally we have right now is Gaddafi's own rhetoric. Every time somebody tries to pull back from this and change the subject, Gaddafi runs his mouth and threatens terrorism against aircraft to go door to door and kill his own people, and that just reinforces the resolve of the coalition and creates doubt among his own forces. If there's any person who's going to result in Gaddafi's demise and end this successfully, right now it looks as if it's going to be Gaddafi himself.
You think his own people will take him out, essentially?
God, I hope so, and I think the rest of the world is holding its breath. But remember, this guy's been in power 41 years.
Right.
He's been able to survive 6 attempts at his own life, 2 of them by his own people. The whole world is turning against him, but he's hunkering down and bunkering down and resolving to continue the fight. The real thing that bothers me is I'm not sure we have a real handle on the internal workings inside of Libya. We don't understand their tribal structure. We don't understand the internal forces they're facing off now as we look at this civil war. And my fear is the tactical victories from the air has done nothing more than just even the score and created 2 equal military forces that will face off and could fight each other for months or even years if this thing isn't resolved quickly, John.
Yeah, that seems to be the worry in a lot of quarters. General Robert Scales, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Well, now turning to some more